So yes, hi, hello, good afternoon. My name is Ines Adasai, and I'm continuing my series of sustainability solutions and companies who actually feed into that. So today I am visiting Advangrid, and Oskars Gutmanis, who is the CEO of this company. So I would like to find out a little bit more. Good morning, how are you?
Hi, good morning. Thanks, I'm good. And yeah, as we discussed before, we have quite expertise actually in this field. And uh, just a bit for about myself, I'm with the company for already 5 years at the moment, and I'm actually not the guy with sustainability background for many years. I joined the company uh, from other industry. In my previous professional life, I was closely related to car industry, so I was doing pretty much different things, starting from repairs to sales and management, etc. But then at some point, I understood that this industry is not that interesting for me in a longer period of time, and I was looking on technologies, different technologies that were developed in the market, and was thinking what to do with my career in the future. And then I saw Advangrid, and I thought that this is a really interesting product that Advangrid has created. Basically, a product that consists from hardware and software, product which has been developed here in Latvia and is being exported to other countries. And yeah, I saw a good potential since the energy field is developing in rapid pace. And yeah, that's how I joined Advangrid. So long story
Okay.
short.
But then, can you please tell what is it, the product and services that it is providing?
Yeah, so at the moment, Advangrid provides energy and efficiency management services, or we do it on as a service basis, meaning that we have IoT sensors, Internet of Things sensors that are easy to install, that we can clip on wires, on electrical wires, to collect very detailed information about the energy flows within the company. So electricity is as a blood flow for the company. So if we track the energy data, energy flows, basically we can track many processes, many production processes, etc. And when the sensors are on, they read the data and wirelessly send the data to our software, cloud-based software, where then our customers or ourselves, our own people, can analyze the data, can come up with different kind of discoveries, starting from simple energy waste to problems in processes, defects of equipment, etc. And all in all, this information leads to possibility of electricity cost decrease and CO2 footprint reduction and other things like process efficiency gains, etc.
Yeah, but in a couple of words, so what it actually does is it's an opportunity to establish and understand what is the baseline of electricity consumption breakdown, which you
Yep.
can then translate into the CO2 as well as costs. And then
Exactly.
it identifies where, in average, there is a potential to decrease.
Yeah, so I usually say that we're doing the accounting of electricity, meaning that everybody has accounting systems which allow them to analyze the cost structure, right? And when you have to tighten the belt, basically you know where to look and what to do, right? With electricity, it's pretty interesting because many companies have hundreds of thousands euros that they pay for electricity, even on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they really do not understand how the energy flows, where the money goes. So what we provide transparency, a good transparency of these energy flows. And once they understand it, they are able to actually cut the costs, cut the the things that relate to the specific situation.
Okay, I would imagine it's kind of very useful these days. Right, and then the evolution of this company has been quite interesting because this is not where you guys started.
Yeah, definitely. So the company actually has been started on 2016, and we started as a solution developer for electricity distribution network operators. At that point, smart meters were another thing yet, and electricity distribution grid operators, at least in Latvia, they had this problem that the visibility of the electricity grid was limited to the substations, and everything what happened in the more remote locations was basically invisible for them. So they wanted to have some kind of tool that gives them a good opportunity to make this better, to give the visibility for them. And basically, for 2 years, we developed hardware sensors specifically for them, specifically for the energy analysis, for detailed analysis of electricity, and the software which could analyze the data and provide them this opportunity of savings, not savings, but grid analysis. And when we created the product, it turned out that the business was not that interesting for us because these large customers, they are very few.
Yeah.
And it's a lengthy process and politics included. So we understood that we have to find a different way how to utilize the technology that has been created, and therefore for a few years we were running around trying to search for our best customers, try to understand what the customers are gaining from this product, and then we stopped at the industry because we understood that they have huge energy consumption and in most of the cases for example, small and medium-sized companies, industrial companies, they have almost no understanding what to do in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of energy cost savings, etc. And here, with our product and with our as-a-service business model, we basically have broken a few barriers for these companies to start doing these things, because with very, very low investment, they can start doing these things. If they don't have the expertise on manpower or in-house to do the data analysis and actual works, we help them with our consultations. And like this, step by step, we have accumulated quite good customer base already, and we are expanding in Europe.
Okay. But typically your customers are the large consumers like retail, manufacturing, construction.
The majority of the customers are from manufacturing industry, but of course we help retail industry, office building owners, etc. We see that the most benefit from our I would say that the manufacturing industry is the perfect customer for us, so to say, because energy consumption reduction and CO2 footprint reduction is just few things that they get out of this as a benefit. There are actually additional things such as, as I said, production cost calculations, precise calculations, process analysis, these type of things which are crucial for them and not that interesting for other industries. But definitely there are other businesses, even hospitals, hospitality service providers that we work with, and they're quite pleased as well.
Okay, right. Then what I wanted to ask then, what are the particularities of the energy and sustainability market that are the backbone of your business model? And you already described a lot of the problems that you're solving for the clients, but potentially, what are the main things that clients are actually looking for and gaining from you?
Well, the main pain point, of course, looking back into last year with the energy price rise, right? Of course, is the energy costs. This is the main thing which opens doors for us. But then, when we talk with companies, when we teach them how to actually utilize this type of technology, then the other things come up. And well, in Europe, of course, this is this sustainability aspect. Even for the mid-sized companies and smaller companies that are not pressed by European Commission yet to report in a very detailed way, even them are interested in the sustainability part as well, CO2 calculation, because as it turns out, for many companies that create their products and export them to different European Union countries, they have to account for the CO2 which has been created in the process of manufacturing of some particular product. So means even if you are a small company but you're producing something and would like to expand your markets, so this is quite crucial. So I would say that in Europe, energy prices, energy market stability, sustainability, and the green cores, these are the main things that drive our business here. But in other countries, for example, so one of the best customer cases that we have, I mean, in terms of customer sizes, so we have equipped largest company in the world, actually, Saudi Aramco, with our equipment.
Really?
We have done it with the help of our partners in Saudi Arabia. But yeah, we're there, and we are one of 5 technology providers for this company.
Right.
And even this large company, which most of the people think is not the most sustainable because of their business.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, they are basically they are
Oil and gas.
Oil and gas, yeah, oil and gas. So basically, they're doing this, which is not very sustainable. But these companies as well in Saudi Arabia, this company, they are starting to think about sustainability. They equip their facilities with our equipment to understand their existing baseline in terms of energy consumption. On top of that, they will try to implement some sustainability activities.
But for them or for their clients?
At this point, for them, they are doing it for themselves to become more sustainable. So at least they would like to show the world, I guess, that even they can do something about it, right? And that they are doing something about it. So not even in Europe. I mean, this will become, I guess, very, very popular in other countries that are not doing that at the moment.
Okay, fine. Yeah, we already spoke about CO2 and cost reduction, so that is quite clear. What is very curious for me, I saw that you are experimenting and piloting to do something with demand response as well, how you can shift load of electricity. To me, that is a very logical extension to your business. So tell us examples.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there are some customers that we work with already for some time, right? And usually I get this question when we first time meet somebody. Well, okay, you go to the customer, you make your data analysis, you give them these this action list, they do it, so now they're efficient. What next?
Yeah,
right?
so what?
Of course, this is not the case how it works. You know, energy efficiency is longer and more complicated, the journey.
Yeah.
But for many companies, not for many, but for some companies, well, they have done quite much already in this field, right? And then this demand response thing is a logical next step for them, because I mean, each company wants to do something, some things that reduce their costs or CO2 footprint as much as possible, right? And when you have done all the simple things like changing the lights to LEDs and exchanging the equipment, etc., there are not that many things you can do. And then this demand response thing is very interesting, which allows these customers to, basically to save on changing their own processes or habits by switching off or switching on some of the equipment at the moments when it's needed for the grid operator or for the larger part of the society. So what do? We are already experimenting with demand response, meaning that we have the necessary equipment, hardware equipment at customers' facilities. We have the right expertise and understanding which parts of the equipment and processes can be switched off and on at what point to basically not disturb the production processes or quality of the functions of the business, such as air conditioning system, for example, or cold storage facilities. So basically you can switch them off for 2 hours, for example, in a day, and nobody won't even notice anything. But that's a huge gain in terms of energy efficiency. And so we see that demand response is already a thing, and it will be even more as a business in this field. So
So you're testing collaboration with some of the demand response companies.
Sorry?
You are testing
Yeah.
demand collaboration.
Yeah, well, at the moment, the thing that is quite tricky is that the system works a bit differently in each country.
Yes.
And since we're working in different European countries, you cannot implement the same model in each country. So we start now here in Latvia and the Baltics, and then we'll see how it will lead us further. Because we are now working in Poland, which is a huge market in terms of energy efficiency, and now they have to move away from coal, which is the largest, actually, the resource of electricity generation in there. So that's a huge market. But how demand response will work there, nobody knows.
Okay, let's hope for the best. Then one of the questions is, you said that how your business works is that you go and you install the sensors so that you can see how electricity flows, and this is how you see the breakdown of electricity consumption. Which energy assets are we talking about?
Yeah, the first thing that I want to mention in here is that how the process happens. Actually, the first thing what we do when we meet customers for the first time, we ask them how well do you know your factory, these assets that are consuming energy. And in many cases they say, yeah, we know the majority of it, and okay, then we provide them some amount of sensors that we agree on. Then we do the analysis, the balance actually of the consumption, what is happening there. And in this particular moment, for many companies, there are already first discoveries that actually the situation is a bit different as they thought it was, because some of the largest consumers are not the largest consumers, some of the energy flows are unknown. This is, I would say, in majority of the company's situation is the same. And then it goes like this. Initially, we try to understand the largest consumers, and we usually try to look into more detail into these large consumers, of course, right? Because they're the possibility of the optimization lies. I would say that one of the biggest energy thieves is compressed air system, meaning that if there's compressed air, there almost always are some leakages, and if they are not removed in time, then basically the compressor is running 24/7. Nobody knows it because it's somewhere in the basement, and that's one of the things, and you have to take care of this all the time. Then quite usual we see different flaws in ventilation systems or dust suction devices. These from manufacturing industry, it's called a bit different. The configuration of these systems, right? They are automated or semi-automated, but in many cases they are not switched off in the nighttime or in the holidays. Quite primitive things actually, but if you don't know the thing, you cannot do anything about it, right?
True.
And then different production machines where the standby modes are usually discovered, where the machine is actually in the standby mode, but it's consuming huge amount of energy. And these type of things, it's not some rocket science actually. These are simple things, but you have to have some kind of equipment that allows you to be on top of these things. And that's what we do.
Okay. Well, this is interesting to find out the thieves of energy, literally thieves, right?
Yeah.
Right. I wanted to ask you, maybe can you share some example of your recent work where you saw something very interesting that came out, or very big saving that was discovered out of nowhere? I'm not interested in the name of a company, but really what was the business case behind?
Yeah, well, there are different stories. Most probably I will tell you the story about this printing house. Well, here I would like to put a disclaimer, right? There are different type of companies that we work with, and the existing efficiency level can be different, and the possibility to offer them savings vary from that, right? And we worked recently with one company, that prints books and sends them to actually different markets. And initially we were we were introduced to them. So this was the case when they had to make pretty precise calculations of CO2 footprint of books.
Per book.
Per book,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But then when we went to them, when we understood what's happening in the facility, so they had actually quite large energy bill. They were paying 140,000 euros on a monthly basis.
Right.
And I mean, the production facility was really old, and they were in the history they were in some other facility, and then they transferred all the equipment, and everything was changing so rapidly. So I kind of understand what the situation was like it was with them, but we were able to provide them information how to become more efficient, that draw down their electricity costs in around 30,000 euros a month. And here I mean they were able to discover, of course, that energy thieves, they understood very, very inefficient equipment, which they were not kind of doing, well, basically they were not analyzing that. We pinpointed different things for them in regards to that, and some other things. So yeah, I would say that in terms of optimization, the percent of existing costs, this is one of the best success cases that we have.
Right.
Yeah, but on average, I would say that what we're able to do, 10% of existing cost level, we're able to find different ways of optimization for almost any company. Meaning that, yeah, if you have 10,000 euros bill, so 1,000 euro, probably there's no possibility to optimize that. If the bill is larger, well, you can do the mathematics yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, 10 to 20%. That's the average of what we do. But there are these extreme cases where where we can do even more.
Okay, and that obviously translates into CO2 as well.
Yeah, as each kilowatt hour correlates directly to CO2 footprint, it's quite similar. Yeah. The percentage is 10 to 20% of existing CO2 footprint, exactly from the energy consumption. Yeah, that's the thing that we do. That's the thing that we can reduce for companies.
Okay, that's actually very nice. I wanted to ask you one of the questions. One, the trendy AI thing, and I know that you are using already element of it, and my understanding is that you're experimenting a bit more. Also, do you experiment anything or microgrids start going into play? So elaborate about this one.
Yeah, with the microgrids, this is a bit tricky. I actually had a conversation 2 weeks ago with one distribution network operator employee, and we discussed microgrids, and he said that the problem again is the political part in each of the country, right? The legal part, how do you actually do the microgrid, and the second thing is the actual well, it will be very, very already technical, but basically you can make the microgrid, right?
Yeah.
But you have to make it stable in terms of energy flows, etc. And that's not so easy to do. So I mean, with microgrids, I see that there's a good opportunity to do something in this field, but we're not concentrating on it at the moment. What concerns the AI, of course, since we are a company that gathers data, we have huge amounts of data, and all the data should be analyzed to actually get some good results out of that. We have already some algorithms on our software which allows us to automate the data analysis. But in this field, in this manufacturing field, since we work with different type of industries, with different size of companies, with companies with different level of optimization, I would say that it's very hard to kind of automate everything.
Yeah.
Right, so there should be human factor involved almost in any case. But what we see we see that some of the things that we do manually or semi-manually at the moment could be more automated, and that's the thing that we're working with. I mean, if we see the energy consumption of, I don't know, 20 or 50 devices on monthly basis, there are some things where we could ask for AI help to find to spot some things that are not that easily spotted by human eye, right? And that's the thing that we work with, and in this regard, we are doing some integrations with other type of software, different type of software, whether it's CO2 calculation software, accounting software. We do it through API, so basically we're able to provide our information for them or receive information from them, and then do actually what's needed for the customer. It's not a huge thing at the moment, I would say, for our customers to do these type of integrations, but for the companies that looks in the future and are willing to dedicate their resources today for the development of these systems, these integrations are very crucial, because nobody wants 10 different systems to work with, right?
Yes.
Everybody wants one system where everything is integrated, and basically, that's the efficiency.
Okay, that's interesting. Fine, and we're coming actually very much to the end, and I wanted to ask, is there anything, I didn't ask you, but it's quite important to share in this relation?
Yeah, well, the thing is that about the solution as it is, one thing that people think when we say energy management, that it is something, I don't know, something very complex, very complicated, and even in terms of when we're not talking about the data analysis, even about the implementation, because in many cases, energy management as a thing is something very unique, which has been created in last year or two. Basically, different type of companies, Schneider, ABB, these type of huge names, they have been developing different type of energy management solutions already for 10 or 20 years. And maybe just because of that, these industrial companies, that they think that this energy management is something like this, that if they would like to start energy management, they will have to implement these huge and complex systems that will cost a lot, and nobody will have the understanding how to actually get something out of the data, right? They're not quite sure about the investment, basically, and whether there will be this output. And that's why we are kind of saying that nowadays it don't have to be that difficult. Sensors that we use, the hardware sensors, are that easily to install that we pack them and ship them to any part of the world. And a large part of our customers actually do the installation by themselves. It's that easy that basically you open the distribution box, clip the wires, the sensors on the wires. You don't even have to switch off the power, meaning that the processes of the manufacturing won't be interrupted. And once they are on, we utilize wireless network where the sensors communicate with the gateway, which is provided by ourselves. And the gateway gathers all the information and then sends to us. So the implementation is very easy in that sense. And the cost of the sensors also is not something very, very large, right? And then in terms of data analysis, there are two approaches how we basically work with our customers. If the company has somebody in-house that would like to at least analyze the data, then we teach them how to do that, how our software can help them. And then they understand that actually the software is one of the best tools for them for their daily work. But then if there are no such people, or everybody is super busy, which is the case in many companies already, then we do the analysis for them. But of course, in each of the cases, there should be somebody in company that will talk with us and
Yeah.
will kind of listen to us, and then hopefully we'll implement the changes.
Mm.
But the most important thing, I guess now I understood what I wanted to tell, is that we can do everything that we want, but if there won't be support and the drive from the management of the company
Yeah.
or the owners of the company, all these things can be done for nothing. Because usually, in terms of sustainability and energy efficiency, there are no bonuses if somebody does their work more sustainable. I mean, at least in manufacturing, as we see it. Maybe that will change, maybe not. But at this point, if the management has this vision that the company should be more efficient or more sustainable, it should come from the top management. And then there should be somebody, most probably in the management board, that is responsible for this. They should drive this thing, because if there's no driver, well, this thing basically can pop up sometime, but
Yeah.
then the processes goes as usual afterwards, and there's no effect from that.
Okay, so the board or decision makers are playing a very major role. Means that on someone's KPI it has to be now we're going to be more efficient, more
Yeah.
sustainable, how we're doing it. And fantastic news is that it directly correlates with decreasing the costs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So there are companies that are already kind of looking into that very in a very detailed way, but there are still a lot of companies that that are looking in a kind of very short future of their activities, and then these things may not be the first priority for them.
Right.
That's what we see. And but if we look on this manufacturing industry, small and medium-sized companies are the majority of the industry in Europe, right? So
Yes.
this is the thing that we address, and these are the companies actually that we see that lack the resources, that lack the manpower the most. These are the ones that we are addressing and helping.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. It was quite interesting. Then, let's go ahead and see how many companies you can actually help to improve.
Definitely.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.